How's it going, guys? Winner Kills here, and welcome to round 3 from my locals this past Saturday. We've got Charmer Dragoon versus Dragon Link. The Charmer Dragoon deck is a pretty interesting deck, I gotta admit. If you guys want to see more of it, I'll leave a link to another match it was in up in the top right. Because you don't really see too much Charmer, I guess. I know there was a new structure deck that, gave it some new support. I mean, the Dragoon package is obviously one thing. We've seen it a million times, but I think it's like, I got to give credit where credit is due. I think it's a pretty interesting take on, Dragoon Turbo, if you will. And real quick, let's go ahead and take a look at the poll results for this match. I asked you guys a couple days ago who you thought would be losing this match, and a large majority of you guys have said that the Charmer Dragoon deck is going to be losing. So let's see if you guys are correct. You usually are, but, we have had our fair share of upsets, with these feature matches as well. So let's see how this one plays out. Our Charmer player winning the die roll and opting to go first, which is a no-brainer. As a Dragoon Turbo deck, you definitely want to try and go first. Just hope they don't have Imperm or Valor for your Anaconda. They'll be leading with a copy of Spirit Charmers. Discard a card to take 2 cards in your deck with different names from each other that are Charmer monsters, familiar possessed monsters, and or possessed spell and traps. Add 1 to your hand and then set the other. So I believe he's setting the Awakening of the Possessed. Monsters you control gain 300 attack for each different attribute you control. Charmer and familiar possessed monsters you control cannot be destroyed by card effects. And if a spellcaster monster or monster with 1850 original attack is normal or special summoned to your field, draw a card, which is mandatory. So, yeah, not too bad of a card here. And it looks like we're going to see him activate Foolish Burial as well to send Trick Clown to the grave. That's going to come in clutch to help give him that extra body to go into the one and only Verite Anaconda. And on summon, it looks like we're going to see a Phantasme. Going to pick up 2 cards and putting 1 back. That might put up some red flags for our Charmer player. He just had the chance to draw into potentially, some good hand traps to stop that Anaconda. And lo and behold, there it is. Effect Valor getting the job done. We have a lot of Dragoon packages at our locals, so maining things like Valor and Imperm prove to be very, very good because it stops that card outright, just as it did here. And he's also down 3,000 life points as our Dragon Link player starts his turn. Okay, scratch that. He's down a lot more than that, now at 3,500 thanks to a Solemn Strike on that Chamber Dragon Maid, which is not a bad Solemn Strike if you ask me. I mean, it's really hard to tell. Like, the Dragon Link deck is it has so many extenders, has so many play lines. Like, it's hard to ever tell, like, what's the best thing to stop. I mean, yes, there are some certain choke points, but, like, there's just so many lines of extension. But, I guess, in most cases with certain decks, hitting the normal summon, especially a card like Chamber, which gives you that Tidying, which is not only a good interruption, but a great extender as well once it hits the graveyard. So I wouldn't say it was a terrible Solemn Strike. Now we're going to see Chaos Space, discarding, I believe, an Effect Valor to go ahead and add a copy of Chaos Dragon Levianeer. And now we're going to see our Dragon Link player banish the Chambermaid to go ahead and summon out the Wyvern Burster. That's going to get linked into a Striker Dragon. And looks like we're going to see Chainlink 1 Striker, Chainlink 2 Wyvern, and that's going to add Collapse and Boot Sector Launch. So far, so good. See what I mean? Like, this is one of those instances, hindsight's 2020, but it looks like, yeah, obviously the normal summon stopping it really didn't matter, of course, because he did have a very clutch one of extender, but, he had the extender nonetheless. Going to summon out black by banishing white, Chaos Space to put back white to go ahead and draw a card here. Offers the cut before the draw. And, yeah, I mean, once you get to that Striker Dragon, once you get to Boot Sector Launch and you can get access to the Rocket Engine, now probably going to go for either Spheres or Romulus here to do more extension. Yeah, and that's exactly what we'll see him do. He's going to go ahead and use black here to search white once more. And the Romulus here going to search the Ravine to basically act as a Foolish Burial for any dragon, which can dump Abso Router to gain access to Tracer. So pretty strong extender there. We're going to see him banish Lights and Dark, so Levy can pop 2 here if he doesn't have something to stop it, and he does. Another Solemn Strike. Man, he's getting into the danger zone now with only 2,000 life points left. And then we'll see Dragon Ravines get played here, pitching white, but we're going to see Possessed Partnerships activate in response, which is going to allow him to special summon a spellcaster from his grave or hand with 1,500 defense, and then he gets to pop a card, so that's going to clear the ravine. His continuous is going to allow him to get a draw, since a spellcaster with 1,850 attack was normal or special summon, so gets to clear the ravine and gets a draw out of it in the process, so not even a bad exchange there. And we know our Dragon Link player, though, has Boot Sector, so that's going to prove to be tremendous follow-up here. He's going to play that. It's going to summon out Rocket Synchron. Now looking in the extra deck, quite a few options at this point. You could go for, you know, a Synchro 8, like Chaos Ruler, to try to grab more extenders, load up the grave a little bit more. You could go for Halka Fibrax. You know, quite a bit of things to do here. Now, if he does go the Hulk route, there are two options there as well. You know, you could summon out another Rocket Synchron and then make Chaos Ruler, but I think what we'll see here, especially with how little life points he has left, is going to summon out, yep, Effect Valor. You know what time it is. Selene access code, baby. Everybody's favorite OTK method nowadays. Every deck has access to it. Do you play hand traps? Do you play Effect Valor? Can you spare a few slots in your extra deck just to be able to instantly OTK your opponent, you know, at any point? Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I don't like the whole, like, Hulk lines now, because you can basically just normal summon any hand trap while you have another monster on board, and then just proceed to OTK your opponent no matter what deck you're playing, basically, so long as obviously you can resolve the Selene, but, like, not such a hard requirement. I think the access code wasn't able to pop that monster there because it was protected from destruction for that one instance, but it doesn't matter. He's going to be able to swing in for a game regardless. So we're on to a game 2, and I remind you guys to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'm trying to hit 30,000 subscribers by the end of the year. That's my main goal, and I've been uploading pretty much every day, sometimes daily uploading, so I would definitely appreciate a sub. You definitely won't regret it. And Charmer going first here in game 2. As you could expect, yeah, obviously you're playing Dragoon Turbo. That's the way to go. Go first, set up your Dragoon. Hope they don't have Veil or Imperm, you know, like we saw in game 1. But Trick Clown getting things started here with that Foolish, and then he's gonna do the really cool, like, familiar Possessed mechanic where you can summon from deck, bringing out the Awakening of the Possessed Nefarious Archfiend by sending a face-up Spellcaster and a face-up level 4 lower Earth monster you control to the grave. And then when it's summoned, it can special summon a level 4 or lower monster from the grave, but negates effects. So that's going to bring back the Trick Clown, you know, helping to facilitate this little bit of sort of like a rank 4 toolbox or link 2 toolbox. And he'll get a search also for his continuous, which is Awakening of the Possessed, and going into Anaconda, paying 2,000. You're sending Red Eyes Fusion, paying that cost. And you know what? If you're the Dragoon player, you gotta love to see it. No Veiler, no Imperm. So guess who's coming out now? Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. So, I mean, if he's setting Strike or that Possessed Partnerships card here, or, you know, yeah, I mean, just any of those cards. Like, this is a pretty decent board here. It is definitely breakable. You know, well, Twin Twister's a great way to start. Hitting both sets. I believe it was a copy of Possessed Partnership, so definitely good hits there. Getting rid of the face-up continuous and actually just passing for turn here. Our Dragon Link player having no follow-ups. That's extremely unfortunate. Banishing Partnerships from the grave to be able to go ahead and target a Possessed continuous spell trap and place a face-up on the field. And Awakening the Possessed, the continuous is going to boost all monster control by 300 attack for each different attribute he has. And that is just going to be game outright. And we're already going into a game 3, so a swift OTK there on behalf of the Charmer deck. You know, the Dragon deck OTKing in game 1, and then Charmer OTKing in game 2. I mean, granted, our Dragon Link player did brick, so we're into a game 3 situation, and I want to mention a quick shout out to Imperium Duelist. If you guys are interested in picking up amazing playmats, deck boxes, dice, sleeves, and more, check them out at the link below and use my discount code WinnerKill10 off at checkout. And please don't forget to use my affiliate link to TCG Player down in the description of all my videos as well. Shopping and checking out with that link will help support the channel directly for cards you're already buying. So getting back to the game here, we're going to see Safer be normal pitching Chamber to go ahead and add, I think, one of the baby dragons. And now we're going to see him link into Striker Dragon. That is going to go ahead and search a copy of Boot Sector Launch. And looks like no interruptions here from our Charmer player yet. If there's going to be a deck you're going to play against and that you want to see going second cards for hand traps, this is definitely one of those decks. It already can play through a lot of hand traps as is, especially if they're not high impact hand traps. So this game could already be over just as it's starting. But we'll see how it ends. I mean, if Dark Ruler is put into the main deck and he doesn't set up Tiding with Hot Red, you know, that Dark Ruler will resolve. He could possibly set up a Dragoon, non-target, clear 2 monsters on the field, set up that Omni Negate for next turn, and then just like that, the game swings in the favor for our Charmer player. So he's got to set up the board correctly here. You definitely want to have protection from Dark Ruler, not only from Dark Ruler, but from Nibiru if you can help it. We're going to see that Ravine send Abzerrouter to add Tracer like usual. And Black getting summoned, now linking with Striker and Black, probably into Spheres if he really wants to play around the Nibiru, because, of course, if that gets tributed by Nibiru, you can go ahead and summon an Extender out of the deck like Brotor and just, you know, get a search of something like Levianeer if you really wanted to. Basically, to at least rip another card out of the opponent's hand if he's got the right stuff in the graveyard for that. So we'll see what he does next. Here's going to activate Tidying in the Grave. That's going to go ahead and bring out the Chamber that he pitched at the start of the turn. And that is going to search that copy of Tidying. So he's already got one piece of the puzzle. He just needs to be able to set up Hot Red specifically because Hot Red can activate in response to the Tidying. And then Hot Red can negate the Dark Ruler because it's not activating directly in response to the Dark Ruler. Now we're going to see him play the Boot Sector Lunch, or the Boot Sector Launch. I don't know, I like calling it the Boot Sector Lunch, or like Quick Lunch, like the Quick Play spell, which I think is still an absurd card. I don't know why that card's at 3. But yeah, I digress. Quick Launch being played, or Boot Sector Launch being played, summoning out Rocket Tracer, and now we're going to see him use Tracer to go ahead and destroy the Boot Sector. That's going to summon out Recharger. So from here, he could easily go into the Chaos Ruler and you know, excavate 5, which is what we're gonna see, and probably hoping for a Rocket Synchron, and there it is. Noctivision and Chaos Space, those are some really good hits there. Red MD to the grave as well. You know, if he's able to get access to Pisty, he can bring that back, and of course Red MD can bring back another card in itself. You know, very strong graveyard setup at this point. Looks like he is going to take that Rocket Synchron, and we'll see what he's gonna do next here. He's got quite the loaded grave, plenty of extenders, and yeah, we saw him add the Rocket Synchron. His normal summon has already been exhausted, so he can obviously just normal summon the Rocket Synchron, but he can go ahead and activate, or not activate, but instead banish Black for white, and now use Chaos Space, putting back the Black to the bottom, and go ahead to draw another card. Now we're going to see him go ahead and link to, for what can probably only be Quad Boral Dragon, which is going to help him probably establish another interruption here. He's going to discard Synchron, and he's going to target Quad Boral to bring back 2 rocket monsters here. And he could either bring back like Recharger or Striker or Tracer, or he could just bring back Tracer and Recharger. So he could either go for Savage with Chaos Ruler, or he could go for just Hot Red with the Tiding. But it looks like he's just going to bring back the 2 level 4s to go into Savage. Savage is going to go ahead and equip the Quad Boral to it. And yeah, no Hot Red this turn, I don't think. So he's going to set the Tiding and pass. So 3 interruptions here, a bounce from Spheres, a bounce from Tiding, and an Omni Negate from the Savage. So pretty good end board. Not playing around Dark Ruler right there, but luckily I don't think it matters. Just because I don't think our Charmer players open any going second cards here, which is pretty unfortunate. But he's going to activate Awakening the Possess, and then normal summon a Spellcaster with 1850 original attack, and he's going to get a draw off that as a mandatory effect, and he's going to be able to summon out Gigabyte from the hand since he does control a Spellcaster monster. So it could go right into a rank 4 here, could go right into a link 2 like Anaconda, and you know, if he goes into Anaconda, that's immediately going to force out one of his interruptions, because you can't let Anaconda resolve here, obviously. You know, letting Dragoon hit the board at this point would just be kind of like shooting yourself in the foot, kind of speak. So yeah, he's going to go ahead and activate Spheres. Looks like probably in response to the summon of the Gigabyte. It's going to bounce back the one that he normal summoned, because I'm not sure if actually Gigabyte's a once per turn. It probably is a hard once per turn to summon. But yeah, that's bouncing the normal summon back is probably the smarter play regardless. And we're going to see Spheres summon out Brotor. Brotor is going to pitch a Valor, probably targeting itself or Savage. Or Chaos Ruler here, doesn't matter. It's going to go ahead and search the Levianeer as a really strong board-breaking follow-up. And it looks like also on the resolution of Brotor, we're going to see him use Tidying, leaving him with nothing left on board to work with, and this just might be game. Yeah, oh my god, look at that absolutely terrible hand. You guys were right yet again, and if you guys want to see more of my content, click on one of the videos popping up on the bottom of the screen right now. And as always, I got to give a special shout out to our Divine level channel members who go above and beyond to support this channel. They are Cadillacs84, Pony Stark, and Keith Siggers. Thank you guys, as always, for your extremely generous support of this channel.